I'm sure you've heard a lot of debate about calories in, calories out, what is it, does it actually work? I am here to tell you that yes, it actually works. From someone who has lost over 30 pounds, it definitely works. And I just want to quickly talk about how to set up a diet at its most basic levels. So I am just going to be talking about calories today. I'm not going to be talking about anything like macros or refeeds, programming cardio and weight training. This is very simply just calories. My plan is to kind of cover these things in other videos, but for now I just want to focus on calories at its most basic level. How do you start dieting? Because calories make up about 60% of the results that you see on a diet. 60 to 70%, and it is the one thing that you absolutely have to nail down in your diet. Everything else is kind of an add-on, but calories are the thing that is really going to determine whether you're losing or gaining weight. Especially in an era of fad diets, it's hard to know which diets actually work, and I'm here to tell you that there's no one particular diet that works in some way. Every diet, whether it's Weight Watchers or the keto diet, the paleo diet, they're all somehow manipulating calories, and that is the underlying factor that is causing weight loss. It is not some magical food that you're eating or the fact that you're cutting out carbs. I think in another video I'm going to cover like the myths of keto and everything like that, but the thing to remember is just that these diets are manipulating calories, and that is the only reason why these diets work for the short term. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is calories in, calories out, at its most basic level. And as you start researching more, and you can start learning about macros and nutrient timing, hypertrophy principles, and things like that, all you need to know for this video is that the calories that you're consuming must be lower than the calories that you're expending. So why does the principle of calories in, calories out work? So basically, in 1841, there was this scientist named Julius Robert von Mayer, and he discovered the first law of thermodynamics. And what that means is that energy is constant. Energy can't simply disappear into nothing, and it can't be created. Energy is simply transformed from one form to another. And so what this means is that you're consuming energy that came in from the sun, solar energy, and then it was converted into chemical energy from plants, and you use this energy to perform daily life functions, to regulate body temperature, for digestion, so basic metabolic functions, as well as non-exercise activity, any exercise that you do throughout the day. And this energy is simply utilized by the body in its chemical form, broken down, released as heat, or used to power some sort of function that I just mentioned. This energy that you're taking in has to be expended in some way. If it's not expended, it is stored as heat, because remember, energy can't simply just disappear into nothingness, into the ether. So it is either stored or used. So basically, calories in and calories out. So calories out must be higher than calories in order to lose weight. And then vice versa. If you're gaining weight, you're probably eating more than you're expending. So in order to lose weight, you can either consume less calories, you can move more, or you can do both. And I recommend doing both, because just consuming less calories means that you might not be getting in enough micronutrients, you might not be getting in enough protein, healthy fats for hormone function, and all that good stuff. And if you're just doing exercise, that's actually not really feasible, because you would have to be doing countless hours of cardio every day in order to burn off the amount of food that you would need. So I recommend that most of the diet comes from the actual calories, so cutting your calories a bit and then adding on cardio as a supplement to that. Let's say you need a 400 calorie deficit every day. I would recommend cutting your calories by maybe 300 and then adding in 100 calories of cardio. And of course, no one really knows what 100 calories of cardio is. If you have an Apple Watch, just add 100 calories to your move goal, or just program in like 2 days of 30 minutes of cardio and then adjusting from there. So I'm just going to walk you through how to actually calculate the calories that you need to achieve the specific deficit that you want. I also just want to mention that I wrote a blog post on this, just like the last video I made. It is posted on Medium, and I will link it in the description, so if you want to see this like written out for you, then it's all there. Everything that I talk about is listed out, so you can go back and read it without having to rewatch the video. So you can go and check that out in your free time after you watch the video, and yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if these articles are helpful, and if there's anything you want to see added to the articles or the videos. So the first thing you have to do is calculate your maintenance calories, and I recommend doing this in one of two ways. The first is to simply track what you're eating every single day in MyFitnessPal and weighing yourself every single day, and then after about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, you basically take the average of the weekly weigh-ins and the average of your food intake and see whether you're gaining or losing weight. And I don't really like this method as much because it only works for about 2 or 3 weeks, and that's not really enough time to establish a definite trend for me. So you can do this, but I much prefer to do it the faster way, which is to put it into an equation like the Harris-Benedict formula. And this formula is definitely not accurate 100%, you know, it's gonna be wrong because everyone's metabolism is a little bit different. There's a misunderstanding that metabolisms vary so widely between people. Metabolisms actually don't vary very much between people who are the same size and the same weight. There are differences in metabolism, definitely, but it's not as big as some people make it out to be. And it's really just determined by your height and your weight and your sex. Your basic basal metabolic rate is generally not going to vary significantly from something that an equation might spit out. So it's not going to be 100% accurate, but it's not going to vary so significantly where it's like 500 calories off. So I recommend plugging it into the Harris-Benedict formula. This will give you your total daily energy expenditure, and that's going to include your basal metabolic rate, your non-activity exercise thermogenesis, which is the calories that you are burning in your daily, day-to-day life. If you're walking the dog, if you're cleaning your bedroom, just daily tasks like that, studying. And then you have physical exercise, and you also have a component that deals with food digestion, the thermic effect of food. So how your body breaks down certain foods that you're digesting. And with that, protein has the highest contribution to your metabolism. Once you plug that into the Harris-Benedict formula, it'll basically ask you your height, weight, sex, and then it'll ask you how active you are, and there's some guidelines on the website. I can link in the description the Harris-Benedict formula, and you can go check that out. And then once you determine your maintenance calories from that, there are two things to consider, and I'm going to go over this entire process with you in an example, so don't worry too much about like all the logistics behind it. I'm going to work through an example with you and explain this as I go along. Now, a diet should be a minimum of 6 weeks in order to make significant changes and measurable changes, and it should never be longer than 16 weeks maximum. 12 weeks is generally the standard, and 16 weeks is pushing it a little bit far, and that's when diet fatigue really starts to set in and unfavorable adaptations begin to occur. So you want to choose a length of time between 6 to 12 weeks generally, and at a rate between 0.5 to 1% of body weight loss per week. The shorter your diet is, the more aggressive you can be in the body weight loss per week, so closer to 1%, and the longer the duration of the cut, so say 12 weeks, the less aggressive you are going to want to be, so about 0.5% body weight lost per week. So here I chose something kind of in the middle, 9 weeks at 0.75%. It really just depends on the deficit that you can handle for the amount of time that you can handle. Our female in this example is going to be 150 pounds, and her goal is to lose 20 pounds, so her goal weight is 130 pounds at the end of these 9 weeks. So the first thing that you would do is multiply your current weight by the rate of loss that you want. So in this case, it is 0.75%, so we just change that 0.75% to a decimal by moving decimal place over 2 spaces, and that will get you the amount of pounds that you have to lose per week in order to hit your target weight loss goal. Then there are 3,500 calories in 1 pound. So in order to calculate the deficit that you'll need per week, you need to multiply the amount of calories that are in 1 pound by the amount of pounds that you want to lose. So in this case, it is 3,500 calories times the 1.1 pound, and that gets you a 3,850 calorie deficit per week. And then in order to calculate how many calories that would translate to per day, you would just divide it by 7. And in this example, we get 550 calories per day. Now, in this example, I previously plugged in our female's stats into the Harris-Benedict formula. I gave her a light activity rate, and I came up with 2,076 calories as her maintenance. Then I subtracted 550, which gives me 1,526 calories. And just rounding, that would be 1,500 calories per day in order to achieve her desired rate of weight loss. Now, this is talking about strictly coming from calories. So if we wanted to add in cardio, maybe this could be 1,600 calories per day and 100 calories worth of cardio. So in the blog post that I talked about at the beginning of the video, I actually made a chart based on this example. So she began her weekly average at 150 pounds, and her goal percent change was 0.75%. The first week, you're really not going to want to make significant changes because it's pretty much just water weight, so this doesn't really matter too much. But then the second week, you can see she lost quite a significant amount. She lost about 1.28%. But again, she didn't make any changes because this was only 1 week of data, and in order to kind of make changes, we want at least 2 weeks of consistent trends. And it's a good thing that she didn't make this adjustment because it would have been premature. The next week, she actually gained a little bit. And this is likely due to sodium intake or just hormonal fluctuations, something like that. But again, she didn't make changes even though she gained a little bit because this is not enough data to establish a trend. Which is again good because the next time she ended up losing weight again at 0.68. So that's pretty close to her goal. And yeah, you can just follow this down. About here, she came into a stall, and it was at this point when she had 2 weeks of consistent data that was below her desired weight loss goal. She bumped down her calories 100, and she got aligned with her target again. And she ended up losing about 8 pounds, and she got to 142.1. But at this point, she got a little bit fatigued from her diet, and it was at this point that she decided to intercut. And generally, I recommend this because it's a lot more sustainable to have 2 weight loss phases to get to your goal than trying to do it all at once, because this can significantly alter your hormones and your metabolism, whereas if you split it up into 2 different phases, you're more likely to stick to it and you're more likely to see sustainable results long term. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that this helped you. Again, this is definitely not everything that contributes to your success in weight loss, but it is the #1 major factor that will contribute to whether you lose weight or you gain weight or maintain weight. And it is the principle of calories that you absolutely must nail down if you want to lose weight. And I hope that this video helps you and you're able to use it and start your weight loss journey, or your weight gain journey, or your weight maintenance journey. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.